Hi everyone, Ani here. So today we have a very exciting video. We're going to be doing an overview of what patch 7.4 brought us and kind of what my thoughts were. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now I will include timestamps for you guys, so if there's a specific topic that you're looking for, you can certainly find it that way a little bit easier. First and foremost, I will not be discussing details about the MSQ because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't went through it yet. However, I will still discuss the dungeon, raid, and trial. Now, with that being said, let's get into the newest dungeon in patch 7.4, Mistwake. Opening kind of places you in what looks like a cave slash factory. As you progress through the dungeon, it starts to change scenery and it ends up in a place that kind of looks like a plaza of a city. Getting into the combat aspects of this dungeon, the dungeon overall isn't too bad. The trash is a little bit challenging. It hits like a truck. But the bosses overall really aren't too bad. Having a lot of AoE abilities is going to be really key in this dungeon. Another point that I would like to make is that the gear from this dungeon is actually item level 755, I believe it is. So if you don't really need it for the gear stats, it does look pretty good. I will say that. I have a pair of pants on, I think it's my Viper, that it looks, I like it. The gear stats in this particular set aren't quite as good as the Historia gear that's been upgraded. So if you've already been doing your raids weekly and getting those coins and upgrading your Historia gear, it'll still be better than this gear that you're trying to get now. Now, I will include something about the fight. It has some very strange mechanics, I will say that. So the first strange mechanic that this boss has is that it will lay down a strip of red, like pulsating light coming out of it. So it looks like a normal strip AoE, but it's not. It will actually become a knockback eventually, and then right after that knockback you have to make sure that you either go left or right to avoid the middle cleavage. Another strange mechanic that this boss has are these lightning orbs. Now eventually, whenever the boss, there'll be spread markers, and then there'll also be like maybe one or two little areas normal AoE. Once those attacks go off, they become these lightning orbs. Now these lightning orbs start to have like these little spiky things on them. They fan out and then eventually reveal some safe spots between them. Now tanks can eat maybe 2 or 3 of those, but DPS, you've got to pay attention, trust me. The last strange mechanic really has me scratching my head still. It's a singular tornado. So at some point during the fight, the boss will actually go to one side or the other, and it'll put down the strip AoE much like it did before, only this time instead of it being a knockback, the boss will like fling his wings forward and release wind that becomes a tornado. The tornado just hangs out at the outer ring of the arena, doing nothing. I still don't know what the hell that tornado does. So if you guys know, tell me in the comments below. And lastly, here's a bit of trivia about this dungeon. The Quan Cavern areas actually refer to a cave near the city of Treno from Final Fantasy IX. Let's move on to the final normal raids for Dawntrail. There are 4 final normal raids. They are under the classification of the AAC raids, only this time it's called heavyweight. In my opinion, the first boss is pretty much the hardest boss. There is a part of the fight where the first boss, she introduces this roller where you have to kill this spiky roller before it kills you. During this time, there's occasional like you'll have to go left, right, or center to avoid those attacks that are being banned out because the spiral will actually come forward a little bit. Now also to keep in mind, during this entire thing, the boss is still letting out half room cleaves. And typically if there's going to be a wipe for that boss, it's on that part. Now at the time of me putting out this video, there are indeed limits on the amount of gear that you can get. So for each of the 4 raids, you can get 1 piece of gear, like per week. The last piece of notable loot is actually from the last boss, and it's a really cute minion. I do feel as though that the story for the final raids was summed up really nicely because of the direction that they took it in, and also the conclusion of the characters they did great. Next, we will discuss the newest trial in patch 7.4, Hell on Rail. This is truly one of those bosses that you just kind of have to see for yourself. His overall aesthetic is quite humorous. He does at one point end up growing arms. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll show you guys the footage. As for the actual fight, be mindful because there are quite a few mechanics. He's also kind of been known to flip a platform once or twice. The final topic that I want to discuss is the change to the glam. I will be honest, I absolutely adore being able to put my character in whatever kind of armor, outfit, anything that I desire because there's no limits. I also love that they removed the level cap, I guess, for specific weapons or specific outfits. So anymore, you don't have to be, okay, I'm level 40 and I want to wear this level 90 outfit. You can. I will insert some pictures of my glamour plates just as examples of things that I've done. And if you're interested, let me know in the comments below and I can actually start putting out shorts, just putting out random outfits for you guys to replicate if you want or just enjoy. That is my short overview of patch 7.4 Into the Mist of Dawntrail. There's too much to add simply about this particular patch, so I may make a new video soon going over some more stuff. What changes did you like? Let me know in the comments below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell if you want to stay up to date with all Final Fantasy XIV content.